Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Tuesday PhD support group meeting. I'm Dr. Leni Liebenberg, and I'll be hosting the second part of this two-part mentorship series. Before I continue, can I just get an indication whether my slides are showing or sharing?
Yes, we can see them, Leni.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much, Colleen. Right, so if you missed last week's session, you can still catch up on it at the UKZN YouTube site. And the same goes for all PhD support group meetings and the Doctoral Academy sessions. So yay, thank goodness for YouTube and the UKZN site. Last week, we spoke about what mentorship is, the benefits of mentorship, and the importance of introspection to determine what your goals are, what you need to achieve them, and who you'd like on your team along the way to achieving these goals. And today, we'll focus a little bit more on the practical aspects of mentorship, what to look out for, in a good mentor, how to approach a mentor, and how to get the most out of your mentorship relationship. Now, as usual, these sessions are meant to be very interactive, so please use your reaction icons. I really value the support in this virtual landscape, and I'm sure that you do too, knowing that others also relate in the same way that you do to the content. I really appreciate that. Also, please pop your questions in the chat box. This is meant to be, thank you very much. This is meant to be a very encouraging environment. It's an unthreatening space, and we are a group of people who are likely experiencing the same sorts of challenges, or someone might have been through the challenge and made it out okay and are willing to share. We are all here to help each other in some way. That's the point of this PhD support group community. I suppose we are all in some way informal mentors to each other. Good on us. So, what I speak about today, I speak about from my experience as a mentor and as a mentee as well. Also from what I picked up along the way through various mentorship workshops that I've attended. And I'm really happy to be here to share with you today and to learn with you today and to learn from you today as well. Right, so with that, let's get started. So I'll just begin with a quick recap of what we discussed last week. What is mentorship? It's the sharing of knowledge and skills and experience. It's by an experienced individual, this would be your mentor, to a mentee who would be a receptive junior or learner instead, someone who's going to be receiving and benefiting as well from this relationship. Why does this happen? So this guidance and support is ultimately meant to promote growth and development within society. There would, of course, be various other reasons for the mentor and the mentee to be engaging in this relationship. And we'll cover some of those as we go on in this session today as well. And then when, where, and how. These should, of course, all be decided early within your mentorship relationship by arrangement, of course, agreement between you and your mentor. And this is also something that we'll cover within the session today. So last week, we spent quite some time on introspection and the value of introspection in understanding what your goals actually are, what you need to achieve these goals, and what kind of mentor you need to help you along the way. And today, we'll speak a little bit more about the mentor and then how to optimize this relationship, or rather more specifically, how to initiate the relationship or plant the seed, if you will, and then how to grow and maintain your relationship for best results. So I'd like to first begin a bit with a recap of what we discussed about the mentor in last week's session. Again, if you missed last week's session, please feel free to find it on the UKZN YouTube channel, where all the Doctoral Academy sessions are uploaded for your convenience. We understand we're all very busy people, so you can catch it up over there. But for the purpose of this session, I'm going to assume that you were here last week and you're interested and you're back here for some more mentorship goodies. So last week, I left you with a quote from Denzel Washington, and he summed up the point of what a mentor is quite simply. He said, show me a successful individual and I'll show you someone who had real positive influences in his or her life. I don't care what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm sure there was someone cheering you on or showing the way, a mentor. Now, that wasn't my best Denzel Washington impression, sorry, but the messages are absolutely important here, coming from Denzel. The keywords here about a mentor are that they are positive influences. They cheer you on, they motivate you, they encourage you, they challenge you as well. They show you the way, they guide you. Why? Well, many other reasons, but for you in particular, to help you become a success, to help you be successful, to have you do something well. And I asked you, what do you want in a mentor? What are the qualities in this person or these people who are going to guide you to become the success that you want to be, or to achieve the goals, or to develop the skill that you want to develop? And this is what you said. The bigger the font size over here, the more people listed that same word. So the most common qualities you wanted in a mentor is patience, for them to be honest, to be a good listener, to be knowledgeable, understanding, and humble. Yeah. Now, to me, it sounds like these qualities in a person may make for a very encouraging environment, a good place for you to develop. This is a place where you trust your mentor enough to open up and be yourself, and be comfortable enough to communicate your challenges in a non-judgmental way. Pretty much like here, where you can grow and develop in a constructive environment. Those are pretty good words, eh? Patience, good listener, honest, knowledgeable, understanding, humble. And your voices resonate quite well with what another South African university found when assessing feedback from mentees. And this was in a pilot program for formal mentorship of academic staff who are also enrolled in doctoral studies in health sciences. And I went through them and I thought, you know, it doesn't only apply to academic staff. These are what we find in students, doctoral candidate students who may not be in the working world. They might be straight out of their master's fellows. So these findings, in my experience, seem to apply across the board. And one of the observations was the common view that meetings with a mentor can be an unthreatening, safe space where the mentees feel able to confront the challenges with which they were grappling. So these mentors, they cultivated this unthreatening atmosphere where the mentee felt comfortable enough to express their vulnerabilities. And, you know, ultimately that is the very essence of a mentorship relationship. You are admitting to somebody that you need something, that you don't have something, that you're lacking something, that you're facing challenges acquiring something. And this can be very difficult for many people. So having that sort of encouraging and comforting and safe space is very important, especially when you're trying to ask for help. And I especially like this, what this participant said about the experience of the mentor. They said, I find it really helpful as a safe space to deal with my insecurities, because I didn't feel like anyone was going to judge me, or I didn't feel like this mentor was going to mind. So that was very helpful. I guess this mentor was probably approachable, understanding, they listened, they were attentive, they were honest, they were trustworthy, they were patient, they were basically everything that you said that you wanted in a mentor. And another common observation was that mentees, they valued being supported and challenged by their mentors, but not in a, one of those put down ways. It needed to be in an encouraging, a motivating environment. And this was a good example of what one of the participants said. They said, being able to plan things and having this mentor assist me to say, what's the next step? What are you going to do? What are you going to achieve by the next time? There's the support and also the challenge, but in an encouraging way. So, I've experienced that before. Send me a thumbs up if you feel this way about your mentor, if you have a mentor. Send me a thumbs down if you don't feel this way about your mentor. And we'll discuss how to fix this if this does, if you fall into this category as well during this the next part of the session. Good, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Yay, good mentors. And so last week, we also touched on formal and informal mentorship relationships. And in an informal relationship, these are generally characterized by intentionality. Both partners in the relationship are either are asking for help or offering the mentoring. They both establish goals for the relationship and they make agreements about its nature. And in this formal mentorship relationship, mentors are often trained or advised on how to behave in order to develop another person, or how to help another person advance in their career. Mentors who join the program are prepared and willing to invest their time and their skills for this purpose. And they want the mentee to achieve success. They want to share their own experiences to help this person, to help the mentee, to motivate them, to encourage them, to challenge the mentee in a constructive way. And you don't need to go through all of this. This is just an example of the guidelines from one of many formal mentorship bodies. The content is generally similar to that of other formal mentorship bodies I've seen. Mentors within these official bodies generally prescribe to an official code of conduct, a way to behave within the mentorship relationship. Well, as do the mentees. Mentees also have responsibilities within the relationship, and we'll get to that. But I'd just like to emphasize a few key responsibilities of the mentor here first. Like, listen without judgment. Provide advice and other constructive contributions when asked. The mentee will set a meeting and circulate an agenda, that's fine. But the mentor must also acknowledge and agree to the content of the agenda for each meeting. So they're also stepping up to the plate. Provide honest and timely feedback to the mentee, etc. I left the website at the bottom if you'd like to read that at your leisure. And there are loads of more additional resources to look through if you're thinking of habits to adopt in your own mentorship relationship. Now, when you begin your mentorship relationship, whether you were matched with a mentor through a program, or whether you asked someone to be a mentor on your own, it's generally good to discuss the responsibilities of both mentee and mentor upfront. So there are no assumptions, so that there's clarity, so that everybody's comfortable and everybody is on the same page. Everyone knows how things are going to go. That aspect, the communication within a mentorship relationship is very, very important. You need to be able to be comfortable enough to communicate with your mentor. And whether you are either in or whether you are entering into a formal or an informal mentorship relationship, whether you were matched or found your own mentor, whatever your boundaries are, whatever your rules are that both of you agree to within this relationship, you'll probably find that there are common characteristics about a mentor in a good mentorship relationship, provided the mentee also plays their part as well. And here's a good way to remember them. A good mentor is elite. I came up with that myself, actually. So let's just go through that. A mentor has the experience in the area that you want to develop. Yes, that's a no-brainer. You want to learn, they have gone through it before, you want to learn from them, they have the experience, E for experience. And we'll move on to listener. So this is a very, very important aspect of mentorship. Your mentor should be a good listener. They should show interest in what it is that you are saying. They should understand what you say and also be able to reflect back what you've just said. So, you know, it's evidence that they were listening. They should show that they pay attention to what you're saying. And you can see this. You can see this through their body language. You can see it through how they limit interruptions. They can unhook the phone. They can not reply to emails or check their phones during the time that they speak to you. They basically just reduce background noise and allow themselves the opportunity to listen to you and engage with you, of course. They show you that you have their undivided attention. Doesn't that always make you feel special when someone is focusing on you? And that's very important in this relationship, knowing that somebody is listening to you, and they will only really discuss their experiences or give advice after listening to you in completion, or when you actually request it. No one's going to just butt in while you're busy speaking about your problems and start off with, well, in my experience, da, 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 da. They need to be able to listen to you well. Another good aspect about your mentor is the I. They need to be inspiring. They may share their personal vision of their personal vision or those of others that they know of. They may be able to describe experiences or mistakes or even successes that they or others that they've encountered have had on the road to achieving their goals and inspire you in that way. They could talk with you about people and events that have inspired them and motivated them. That also might be helpful and inspiring to you as well. Another aspect of this inspiration is the potential to introduce you to colleagues who can be an additional source of inspiration or another inspiring model for you. So a big one, they should also be trustworthy. They would need to keep your conversations and other communications confidential. They honor your scheduled meetings and your calls. They consistently show interest and support. They are honest with you. Now, sometimes it's very difficult to know this upfront whether someone is going to be honest with you or not. And I see that there's a question in the chat about this. what is the process of finding a mentor? And that's directly related to it. How do you know if this person is trustworthy? We'll get to that, Leni. And the last one is encouraging. They would need to acknowledge and comment favorably on your accomplishments, acknowledge your accomplishments. Look, I mean, it's, from a mentor standpoint, it's wonderful to know that the impact that you've had in your mentorship relationship has been positive. And I love learning from my mentees about any good in any achievement that they've had that might have been as a result of our interactions. And I'm happy to encourage that. Another aspect of this encouraging aspect would be that your mentor would be communicating their belief in your capacity to grow, your capacity to develop, whether this be in a professional or even a personal standpoint. The mentor will respond to your frustrations and your challenges. They will listen to you. And the response should be supportive, constructive, understanding, encouraging, sometimes even praised. And really, you know, I think the best part, the encouraging bit for me and my mentorship experience is really just knowing that someone else has been through something that I've been through. They're listening to me, they're acknowledging what I'm saying, and they're telling me, look, I've experienced that as well. I know what you're going through, and they've been through it. They've become a success, and it's encouraging to me as a mentee to see that, and I want to grow as well. So, I mean, there are many other characteristics of a good mentor. To me, those ones really stood out. Having experience, being a good listener, being inspiring to me, trustworthy, and encouraging. And I just want to move on to, why do they do it? Why do mentors take up this piece of time out of their day to give of themselves to help someone else develop? And different mentors will do it for different reasons. These are the reasons that I've come across, to invest in and empower the next generation, to increase knowledge and skills and capacity and competence, to enhance my CV, nothing wrong with that, to reinforce my skills and my knowledge of a subject. I guess that is very handy, especially if you and your mentee are within the same field. We learn from mentees as well. To increase the pool of high quality and influential leaders motivated to mentor future generations, developing a culture of mentorship. Wouldn't that be wonderful? For fulfillment and personal growth, there's something special about being able to see somebody grow, and know that you had a little bit of part in that. I quite like that. Okay, so you are more familiar with the mentor and the responsibilities and the benefit of the guidance. So yeah, let's move on to your relationship with the mentor. And we'll start with how to initiate the relationship, and then we'll move on to what your responsibilities are as a mentor, as a mentee, to get the most out of the relationship. So I just want to start with a little scenario over here. Think of a time when someone was asking you to do something for them. This can be something like, can you help me fix my bike? Or teach me how to fix my bike? Or can you help me learn how to speak your language? Or can you teach me to be as proficient as you are in Excel or PowerPoint or Word or whatever? Just think about a scenario like that. Someone is coming to you asking for something. I'm asking for you to help. And what sort of information would you need from them to determine whether you could or could do it? just you think about it, you can put it in the chat box. What sort of information would you need from somebody to determine whether you would be able to assist them with this question? Be honest. What determines whether you can do it? I'll give you a 5 seconds. Fikile says, what they know on the so far on the subject. That's pretty important. I guess you mean as a main, you would be, what do I know on the subject so far, or do you mean the mentee? What do they know? Like when they do it? That's also that's an interesting that's an interesting one. I'll tell you what it boils down to for me. And perhaps, I mean, you can tell me as well. Oh, okay, I see. Thanks, Fikile. So we on the same page here. Mine would be, why me? Am I able to actually do what they want to do? How long will it take? Do I have time to help them? Can I fit this into my schedule? Is this a long-term thing? How often will this happen? How often will I be needed? So I'm already getting anxious here. And what's in this for me? I feel pretty guilty about that one, but you know, to be really honest, if someone's going to ask me to help them fix a bike, what do I get out of this? Considering it will take a long time as well. So these are sorts of things that go through your mind. I'm assuming that it's quite similar in your mind as mine. And you would need to then approach a mentor with the same mindset. You need something from somebody. Let them know what makes them the best person for the job to help you. What is it about them that would help you achieve this goal? Let them know how long you think it would take, how long this either this meeting would be or this relationship would be, so that they can determine whether it can fit within their time. The last one, what's in this for you? That's a little unfair. We'll touch on it in a little bit. So once you've identified who it is that you'd like to approach as a mentor, and we can get through that in the discussion at the end. You already know what you'd like in a mentor. I guess at some point you're not entirely sure whether this person has those attributes. You might have heard about them through friends or through their colleagues, or you've asked around a bit and they tick some of the boxes. Sometimes you only really learn more about it within this initial meeting or as your relationship progresses. And I guess it's also totally fine within the relationship to be honest about whether this is working for you, whether you were expecting these sorts of skills or attributes within your mentor and it's not actually there and it's affecting your progress. That sort of conversations would need to be had within the mentorship relationship if the relationship is not working you to your full potential. Okay, so how to ask someone to mentor you, how to schedule this initial conversation. I guess an email would be the best way to go, especially in this post-COVID social anxiety, people in my space is kind of scary sort of world. Write a short email that refers to this potential mentor's expertise. Ask your potential mentor if he or she can make time for a meeting with you, maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. This is up to you. Just bear in mind, you don't want to be rushed. You do want plenty of time for discussion with the person, and having those sorts of questions be asked about your goals. Tell them about your aspirations in the same field, and clearly describe what it is you're looking for. Someone said in the chat, what sort of support do they need? So you would need to express that upfront. Acknowledge the individual's time. I know you only have, I know you're a busy person. Could we perhaps spend 30 minutes on a Zoom call just to discuss this, the potential of us entering into a mentorship relationship for the purposes of developing this and this and this attributes for me. So, I mean, that's a very quick way of putting it. Schedule the initial, find your mentor, find who it is that you're interested in working with, send them an email, letting them know what it is you'd like from them, how long you'd need from them, just to have a general discussion. And when you are at this meeting, there are some key points you would, of course, need to remember. The first one being, treat them the way you would like to be treated. Be punctual. You don't like other people wasting your time, neither would they. Be polite and to the point. Say what it is you're looking for. This is where that introspection that we discussed really, really helps. You've already thought about what you want. You've already decided that this is the person who may be able to help you reach those goals. Speak about them. Tell them why you think they'd be a good fit. You can offer them something in return if it's within your, if it's what you want to do. Many mentors really just want you to pay it back, to promote this culture of mentorship. Some mentors, potential mentors, would need to think about this first. So, you know, be prepared to not get an answer from them right away about it. You know, entering into a mentoring relationship, it is a big deal. And it can take a lot of time. It should take a lot of time and effort on your part as a mentor. So it's okay, let them think about it. If it takes about, 3 days, you don't get an answer, maybe send them a polite reminder about it. Polite being the key word. And if they can't, that's okay. There are many other people who would be willing or who have the time and are able to share from their cup with you. Also within the meeting, keep the time and thank the person for their time, for being able to meet with you. It's very respectful and it's a good sign from a mentor. I mean, to find that out from a mentee. You know, learning that this mentee is going to be a respectful person within your relationship is very important to a mentor. Okay, so let's move on to how to maintain the relationship. So if you ask somebody who has a mentorship relation, a mentor, you ask them, what is the best aspect of your mentorship relationship? So this is a description of when a mentorship relationship goes right. Here's what I would like to say. I'm glad to have a secure, confidential space to share my fears and my challenges and to get sound answers from to my questions. That's what I like most about my mentorship relationship. Another version of a good mentorship relationship would be from a mentee who says, I feel comfortable enough to say what I want without any judgment. Or we have dedicated meeting times where all the attention is on me, yay, and my development, yay. I trust that my mentor has my best interest at heart. I actually heard that today. I connect with my mentor. I feel respected. I respect them. I feel free to disagree with advice or my mentor's opinions. And I even think that they actually value that. So those are some examples of what can be considered good mentorship relationships. What can go wrong? Many things, many things. And the result, not being able to meet the goals that you set out to achieve. So I'm involved with many mentees, I'm involved with many mentors, and these are some of the common complaints that I've heard from mentees. My mentor did not let me get a word in at all. They chatted, they did not listen. My mentor took calls and answered emails during our meeting. If anybody's experienced this, please put a thumbs up. My mentor discussed the meeting content with others. My mentor stole the research ideas I discussed with him. It sounds like a horror story, but these are real points. My mentor could not relate to my situation and challenges, and it was very difficult for that person. Common complaints from mentors, on the other hand, my mentee often missed our appointments, or was very late, or didn't reschedule, and never even apologized. My mentee did not attempt or complete the agreed on activity. My mentee was not involved or focused during the discussion. My mentee sent me a WhatsApp in the middle of the night expecting me to answer immediately. It sounds out of this world, right? But it actually happens. So today, I'd just like to spend a few minutes discussing ways to prevent this, ways to optimize the mentorship relationship. So you've approached your mentor. They've agreed to mentor you. They are elite. They have all the characteristics that you are looking for in a mentor. Yay. Now it's up to you to come to the table so that you can ultimately meet the goals that you want to achieve with their guidance. So number one, just as a recap of last week's session, before you ask somebody else to invest in you and invest in your path, you have to first be willing to invest in yourself. Ask yourself, why do I want a mentor? What am I hoping to gain from this mentorship relationship? Right? We touched on those last week. What are your goals? What do you need to achieve? Is this the right person who's going to help you achieve these goals? So you've decided on the point of mentorship. Think critically about your strengths and your interests and your values. Set personal and professional goals. So say things like, my strength is not in communication. I need to communicate better. I need this. I need help with that in this setting. Or my strength is not in leadership. I need help with that. I need to know more people. I need to put myself out there. I need help with that. Be honest about who and what you need from them to help you achieve these goals. And be willing to work towards these goals. So you definitely need somebody's skills, of course. I mean, that's the definition of the mentor. Say you can't deal with abrasive people. That's okay. Try and find a mentor who's not abrasive. You can't deal with condescending people. Good luck. Try to find somebody who's not condescending. Figure out what your triggers are and what help makes you struggle to control your emotions. For me, I need to work with someone who's patient or willing to work with me as I try to achieve my goals. Look, if you aren't willing to work, to put the work in on yourself, Why should anyone else be willing to do that for you? Sorry. The next one, very important, communication, very, very key. Be clear about your needs. Now, you've decided what it is that you want. You've contacted the person who's interested in being your mentor, and they are ready to volunteer and invest their time in you. And now's the time to be very clear about what it is that you want. What are your needs? When both you and your mentor are on the same page about something, you can work together to reach this goal, and you both share the sense of accomplishment. So it really helps for you to draft a mentorship agreement from the get-go. I do that often. It's very useful. This is a document that really sets out what your needs really are. Be clear about what you want to get out of the relationship. This is where you prepare your mentor for the frequency of the proposed meetings. How often are you going to be meeting? How often are you comfortable meeting? How often are they comfortable meeting? What are you happy to discuss? What are the red zones? What should you not be discussing? It's best to be clear upfront so that you don't have, there's less opportunity for conflict in the future. And conflict generally stems from misunderstanding or, well, there not being clarity. I think I've said most of this, sorry. Yeah, so I don't think I need to go through all of that. It's very important to be clear on your needs. I didn't speak about the limitations. Recognizing your mentor's limitations is also quite important. Your mentor might be absolutely phenomenal, might be a wonderful person, but they might also have a limit to their knowledge and their abilities, and that is okay. Sometimes you only need a mentor for certain aspects of your development. And you might benefit from having another or multiple other mentors for different aspects of your mentorship, of your development. And that is fine. This one mentor might not have the abilities or the experience to help you achieve a certain goal. You might be able to get that better from somebody else. That is totally okay. Don't get frustrated because of your mentor's limited ability. Rather speak to them about it. If you need guidance beyond what they can offer, again, I'm sure they wouldn't mind you finding that source of development through a different mentor as well. It's all about you, developing you and your skills and getting you where you need to be. Another very important point to help with your mentorship relationship is to always come prepared. Plan a rough outline of what it is you want to cover before the session. What I like about agendas is that they help you to stay on task. It helps you optimize the time that you have together. You don't have lots of time. You're trying to finish your PhD. There's a whole lot of other things on your plate as well. Same goes for your mentor. So in your limited time span, try to get as much out of it as possible. An agenda really, really helps. It also shows that you're dedicated to making progress, and it ensures that your sessions are productive. So share the agenda beforehand to give your mentor an idea of what you'd like to focus on in the meeting. I find it very useful to also respond to my mentee saying, yes, this is great. I've seen what you want to discuss and I'm happy, I'm prepared to discuss this with you on this date. Also prepare some questions and dedicate time specifically for these questions. Now, don't be like Jack. Jack rocks up to a meeting on time. He's punctual. That's fantastic. He greets his mentor. They exchange pleasantries. He's happy to be there. The mentor says, hey, Jack, we have this meeting in our schedule. It's been there for a while. I like speaking to you. I love these mentorship sessions. That's fantastic. What would you like to discuss today? And Jack throws a blank. Jack only came to this meeting because it was in his calendar. And he didn't want to disappoint his mentor by not pitching up. Jack needs to draw an agenda beforehand, circulate it so nobody's time is wasted. Don't be like Jack. Did I go back? I did. Sorry. We go forward here. The next one, excuse me. Take action. Take notes. Don't let your mentor just speak. Don't just speak. Excuse me. Take notes at your sessions and create an action plan. By next week or next meeting, I want this to have happened. I want that to have happened. It makes you accountable. Excuse me. It also provides focus for the time in between the sessions, so that you have something to show for by the next session. You have another step along your path to growth, your growth path. These notes, these action items, ensure that you don't forget what you said that you would do. And these notes also help you stay on track. Follow up immediately with a summary of the session. As soon as the meeting is done, send your notes to your mentor. This should be a list of actions and any ways in which the mentor can support you. And always lead the booking of your next session with your mentor. I generally do it like that it happens within that last meeting. So, hey, mentor, this is fantastic. I'm going to send you the minutes of this meeting. It's a list of what we agreed to do, what I agreed to do by the next meeting. What does your diary look like? Is next month okay? Perhaps we can sort this out right now. Can we carve 1 hour or so within the next month so we can catch up about these? And that's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that. It shows your dedication as well. Also, by running these actions by your mentor, you're also inviting them to hold you accountable, which means that the actions are more likely to get done. So, I also need to mention that mentoring it's a voluntary relationship. It's alongside our day-to-day responsibilities, and it can also be deprioritized, and it can lose momentum. So if you've told your mentor that you're going to do something, and then you turn up to the next session and you haven't thought about it since the month before, you're going to make little progress. The point is for you to grow, for you to develop through these meetings. So if you've asked for help writing a document, learning how to write a literature review or whatever, have a draft ready for them by the next meeting, or whenever you are able, realistic expectations, have it ready for them to look over. So you are now accountable. It's in your action items. You can tick it off by your next meeting. Or if they've given you something to work on, make sure that you do that in time for the next session. If they've opened a door for you that you wanted to be open in the first place, make sure that you walk through this door. Take action. Another one, reflect. Be open to feedback. This is a kind of tough one. This is where the vulnerability comes in. Let's start with a good bit. Reflect on your accomplishments during the relationship and share any learnings with your mentor. I think I mentioned it before, there is nothing more rewarding for a mentor than seeing that their advice has come into practice, that you are growing as a result of their advice. So please just make sure to keep up to date, keep your mentor in the loop. I'm sure they would be very encouraging about that as well. Ask for feedback. This is where the funny bits are. It's difficult for me as a mentee to get feedback because I'm expecting my mentor to be honest. I don't want somebody who's just going to be giving me pep talks and trying to be, tiptoe around me. What's the word? You don't want them to collude with you. You want to be challenged. As awkward and horrible as that might feel in the moment, it's going to be good for me, for you as a mentee. So, especially if you know that your mentor has your best interest at heart, your mentor is there to help you, and they would be doing you a disservice if they did not provide positive or honest feedback, constructive feedback. They aren't doing this to hurt you. And closing your mind off might also just hinder any progress that you may have had with them. When you ask for feedback, ask for things like, which parts of my approach concern you the most? Or what do you think is working? What do you think is not working? What could I do differently that would have the greatest impact on my success? Don't take negative feedback personally. Again, your mentor is there to help you. They should have your best interest at heart. Rather see it as a challenge to improve. Try to see things from a new perspective. Your mentor might be of a different anything to you, different gender, different culture, different research field, whatever. Be open to any sorts of learnings that you can have from them. Be respectful of that difference. Very important, you are driving this. Be responsible for your own development. Be the driver of this relationship and follow up. Your mentoring relationship is about you achieving your goals. So don't expect your mentor to drive this relationship. The more work you put into the relationship, the more you'll get out of it. Seek additional resources like books or videos or courses to also help you meet your goals. Your mentor is not the end all be all. They are not going to solve your problems. They are there to help you solve the problem yourself in your own way. Ask questions and actively participate in these conversations. Respect and value your mentor's investment in you. That's a voluntary investment in you. Be dedicated to learning and practicing the skills. Ask insightful questions. This is an interesting one. While it's very tempting to talk about yourself and treat these mentorship sessions as therapy, very often it can feel like that, and that's okay sometimes. Remember that you can actually also learn a lot from hearing about others' experiences. Yes, your mentor is there to listen to you, but you are also there to listen to your mentor. And mastering the art of asking a good question is also, I guess it can be considered good leadership quality. And so your mentoring sessions are also a perfect time for you to start honing that communication skills, those leadership skills as well. So ask thought-provoking questions that can lead to discussion. Have debates, argue, or disagree if you feel that you disagree with what your mentor is saying. I hope that the mentorship relationship is comfortable enough for you to be able to voice your opinion. That is the point. This sort of communication, that discourse is so important within a good mentorship relationship. Have a hot debate over an issue that you feel passionate about. I do that very often, and I love the feedback from my mentor. Ask questions that only your mentor can answer about their careers and experience. Well, that's why you're there, right? You're there to learn from them based on their experiences. What is the most important leadership lesson we've learned? How is that valuable? That could probably spend an entire mentorship session answering. Same with others. Can you tell me about a time when you had a difficult supervisor or boss? How did you handle it? How did you build the skills of speaking so engagingly in front of others? Help me, please. What do I need to learn? How did you learn to embrace failure? Oof, that would be an interesting one. Another one is to develop trust. So all mentoring relationships have two key components: the goal that you are working towards and the relationship. The goal, the relationship. The mentorship does not automatically establish trust between you and your mentor. It must be developed and nurtured. You can't just trust that you've heard that this person is trustworthy. Within your interactions with your mentor, you will learn whether this person is honest and trustworthy, and they will learn the same about you. And having trust within your relationship really can open up a channel of phenomenal communication. And this is very important to the success of your mentorship. So you both need to work to establish trust at the beginning of the relationship. And the best way to demonstrate that you are worthy of their trust is by keeping their trust. Do what they say you're going to do what you say you are going to do. When you meet, be prepared. Don't gossip or break confidence. I mean, that's very important in everyday life, right? If you're gossiping about or breaking somebody's confidence to somebody, that person realizes that you can actually do that about them as well. You wouldn't really be likely to trust you. Disagree, be comfortable enough to be able to disagree. You shouldn't feel like you have to take every single piece of advice that your mentor gives you without question. Tell them if you disagree with something that they've said. And this will lead to discussion with much more value than if you simply nodded your head in disagreement. It might take more time as well. Your mentors are there to learn from you. If you disagree with me as a mentor, I'll be fine with it. I'll also be very interested in continuing this discussion. Why do you disagree? And it will add a whole new dimension to the discussion. And this is the final one. Respect your relationship. Remember that your mentor is volunteering their time. So please try not to waste it. Cut out time wasters in your meeting. Dedicate some time to speak about personal issues if that's what you'd like. Dedicate certain time to discuss about whatever aspect. Schedule these, put these into the agenda of the meeting. Give plenty of notice if you need to cancel or reschedule the meeting, and this goes for both parties. Establish some ground rules around contact so that you don't abuse the time that they're willing to give you. And this is very useful within the very first official mentorship meeting. Once this person has agreed to meet with you, that mentorship agreement I just discussed, this is a good time for you to iron out all of those, clarify your needs, how are things going to work within the relationship. I was petty with this one. Don't contact them multiple times a day or outside the agreed upon hours unless absolutely necessary. So in summary, these are the points I think are useful to remember or to put in practice if you'd like to optimize your mentorship relationship, to avoid those negative comments I mentioned about or complaints that mentees have or complaints that the mentors have. You want to develop and you want the path to be generally smooth and conflict-free. Decide on the point of your mentorship. Be clear about your needs. Always come prepared. Take action. Reflect. Be open to feedback. Be responsible for your development. Ask insightful questions. Listen. Develop trust. Don't be afraid to disagree. Respect your mentor and your relationship. So to summarize these past 2 sessions, they will both be on the UKZN YouTube channel for those who've asked. Thank you for your interest. In the first session, we spoke about the mentee, the importance of introspection, knowing what your goal is, knowing what you need in order to achieve it, and identifying who it is that you need to support you along your way to getting that, your mentor. Then we spoke today more about your mentor, what those characteristics are of a good mentor. And then we spoke about the mentorship relationship, how to begin it, how to grow it, how to sustain it, how to make sure that it is a good one. And with that, I am very happy to take some questions. I do understand that it is, we are quite pressed for time. So I'm happy to spend a couple more, let's say 4 more minutes. Everyone is comfortable with that, to address any burning questions regarding mentorship. I'm going to move on to the chat then. Okay, Kutso says, okay, Kutso, that's UKZN YouTube channel where you'll find the these presentations. Claudia says, can your supervisor be your mentor as well? Claudia, we discussed this last week. You can also check on the UKZN website. Yes, mentorship can be an aspect of your supervisory relationship. And it happens often. It's totally okay. You just need to be aware of certain conflicts that might arise if your mentor is your supervisor. Be aware of that, and also be prepared to have multiple mentors to make sure that you are still covered, you can still achieve your goals. Can my therapist also mentor me? I'm actually not sure how to answer that question. I guess it depends on what it is that you want out of your mentorship relationship. Let's see. What is the process of finding a mentor? So the process begins with you identifying what it is that you want, and then identifying the sorts of qualities that you would like from a mentor, in addition to the experience that that you need them to have. And once I described that, you identified those needs, a good way would be to discuss amongst peers or colleagues who they could recommend, who your supervisor might know somebody as well. It depends on what it is that you are looking for. And I think I did mention this during the session as well. You might think you found the perfect on paper mentor, and within the relationship, you realize that the chemistry here is not great. This person is actually abrasive and it's not helping my growth. I really hope for you to be able to be comfortable enough to address this with your mentor. There's no shame in expressing yourself in that way and saying, look, I know that I can grow better in a different scenario, different atmosphere, different environment. Thank you for your contribution. I would prefer to end this mentorship relationship in a very nice, polite way, of course, and seek what you need from a different mentor. Generally, your mentor would be comfortable with that. I'm speaking from my own experience. I would be comfortable. I have been comfortable with that in the past. My interest is in your development. And if I'm not able to help you in the way that you can. I'd like to think that me as a mentor, I'm mature enough to not, to really, to help with your development, to let you go, find that path. I'll even help you if you need to find the right, to find a different mentor. I think that's that. The rest of them are thanks. Thank you very much for your thanks, and thank you for joining me. Next week on the PhD support group meetings, we have another fan favorite. Lewin Moodley will be back, and she'll be discussing the importance of emotional intelligence and how that can help you progress within your career plan. Please join us next week, 3:30 Tuesday, right here. See you then. Goodbye.